Okay, everybody, starting off with Michal, showing what's up with Lords and Villains.
All right, I haven't been showing for a few weeks. For those watching, I'm Michal and I work on Lords and Villains, which is a city building strategy game set in the medieval ages. And I will be showing very exciting stuff because my demo is like that much ready. I want to show it today. Hopefully it doesn't break. But before I get into that, just to tease you a little bit, or like delay things, just as usual, update on my wish list. 379 to this point. I don't know what is that spike over there. Didn't look into it yet. I just noticed when I was doing this graph, so interesting for me as well. But I'm getting 5 to 10 wish lists a day consistently. It's dying down a little bit, but I'm going to revive it with the demo very soon. So I feel like this is pretty good, given how little I've done for promoting the game so far. Then I also want to bore you with the technical things, because I feel like I was working on this for 3 weeks, and I just want to kind of like flex my save game system. So this is the saving mechanism that I've implemented in the game right now, where the game is able to save in about like 1 second, and it takes 2 megabytes to save the whole map, which is pretty good, I feel like. And the way I do this is by using like a loop of 4 methods. First off, if I'm just normally instantiating the object, I call the init data method, which generates new data for like a fresh object. So you build a wall, it will get assigned like a basic starting HP, whatever it is currently. And then there's this after loading finished method, which is done some cleaning regardless of whether it is a new game or loading from a save file. Then you play the game, and when you hit the save, there is this method serialize, which will create a save data object, and that saves all of the attributes that you need to restore the game. And when you are loading the save file, first I create the instance of the object, it's like an empty shell, and I feed it the save data class to the load data method. It will kind of load the objects, or like the data in. And then I have to call bind data because the objects kind of like know about each other. And if that object doesn't exist yet, I cannot kind of do it in one run. So I need to do it twice. And after that, I go back to after and finish, and we go back like that. So doing it like this allows me to basically do it pretty fast and also put a save file behind the game menu, which I'm going to show right now. I have a new splash screen as well. And
this is a live level?
No, this is a splash screen. But yeah, it's a screenshot from the real level. So, so as you can see, there are these clouds. That's a new thing as well. The game is simulated, so this is basically loaded save file. I can just create any save file I want and feed it to the menu, and this is what's going to be happening. So later, when I add more features and there will be more interesting stuff to show, I can just swap the save file as well and show different things. I can also do things like multiple save files, so every time you load the game, there is something different. Right now, I'm just sticking with one because it takes a lot of time to kind of generate the right map that looks nice. I was like just reloading the game over and over until I got a really nice map, and then I built this. As you can see, the NPCs there are just like farming. I put a little blooming effect, so that's like I'm zooming out. Yeah. I also have all these nice buttons, so make sure to wishlist the game if you haven't. Make sure to become my patron. News on the patron. I've also gained 2 new patrons since last 3 weeks. So now I'm about $30 a month without fees to Patreon and stuff, which is pretty good. 3 of those are not my friends or my family. Or like, I consider them my friends, but like we haven't met in real life. Yeah. So what is else there? I have these settings. So if there is like this ridiculous coincidence that you don't like the music, you can just do this. And there's no music anymore, but who wants that? Let's put it back. can also reduce the SFX volume. And because we have no save files, there is nothing to load. So we will just go and create a new one. So new thing, I've activated these presets, so now you can create all kinds of maps. There's a preset for fields, hills, mountains if you want to mine a lot. There's even a swamp or seaside and lakes. So I turn this question to you, which one I should? Seaside, all right. I thought that's swamp. All right.
Shrek. Welke song?
Onions.
So we have a new game. Just put our name. Me. And we start playing. And what is there also a new thing, since I've kind of added the clouds, I was like, why not put it into the game as well, right? So when you zoom out, you get this. And you have this nice little map. Now we'll just try and build a few things. Oh, yeah, I actually don't have any wood yet, so let's put this. And we'll put a little bed. And then we're gonna save it. Save game. And if I do it again, I'm gonna get an error that the file already exists. If I want to overwrite it, I can. And if I will go here, now there is my save file. And I can just go and load it. The game. The game also autosaves every morning. So every day there is an autosave. You get 5 autosaves, then they start cycling. So we can also just go back to main menu, and because everybody wants to see those swamp, let's look at swamp.
Woo! Shrek.
Shrek.
Lord Shrek. And we have swamp.
Ooh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah, and we can just save again. Swamp. And just to show you that I'm not cheating, I'm gonna load the previous map. Here we go. And we can go back to the swamp again. Here we go. Again? Well, we're gonna delete the save file just to see that I can also delete the save file. Yeah, there's no music, but let's not do that. Yeah, and I will be bothering you with my mailing list every time you press escape, so just to make sure that you actually subscribe and get sweet news from me. Yeah, that's about it, what I have done. I will be releasing the demo in a closed circle of people, including this house, for beta testing to find bugs. As soon as everything is ironed out, I'm just releasing it to public and start collecting those Patreon money. Yeah, that's from me for this week. Any questions first?
Are you planning on adding compression to the save games as well, or have you already done that?
There is no compression so far. There is not even like hashing or anything.
Okay.
Since it's just 2 megabytes, I'm fine with it for now. Yeah.
Are you using double buffered save files?
No, I'm not doing that. So the game stutters for like a second every time it saves. If it ever comes to a point where I feel like that's a problem, I will put the effort in doing it like that. Yeah.
Are the maps procedurally generated?
Yes.
So we get a new swamp if you create a new swamp.
New swamp. Yeah, I was thinking of doing something like seeds so people can share like nice maps. But for now, not really.
Hey, there's an island.
Island in the center. Yeah, it's basically just Berlin noise with like multiple layers across each other. So it creates like, I have like one Berlin noise for the basic terrain, then I have another Berlin noise for the mountains, which is like shifted a little bit, and then I have another Berlin noise to generate the type of the mountain, and every time it kind of like crosses, that's where you get the specific type of mountain. Which is problem in the future because the ratios of whatever kind of resources you're going to get is very unreliable, and you need to do something with that. Yes?
Are clouds also Berlin noise?
No, clouds are shader with multiple textures that are diffused over each other. I don't really know exactly because I found it on Asset Store. Yes?
I'm not sure if you already have it or not, but when you delete a save, you get a prompt that says, "Are you sure?" I see some disasters happening.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna add that. Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
How long did it take to implement the save system, and what was the hardest part about it?
Yeah, the save system took like 3 to 4 weeks. Hardest part was just the manual work, going like class after class and implementing all of the methods, and then kind of figuring out what is the correct order of restoring everything. Because the AI is, I'm trying to do it as efficiently as possible, and the AI has like a lot of planning in their heads, and I don't save that. So every time I load the game, it's just kind of like, I tell the AI, create new plan from whatever you are right now, and I'm just betting on the fact that whatever is generated is exactly the same as it was before. And in order to get that, I would have to optimize the order very specifically, so that was tricky. Yeah, and there's also like a lot of objects that like connected to each other and have events that are hooked onto each other. So managing that in my head, like making sure that I didn't forget anything, was very tricky. This is like a reason why many people recommend doing save game like right from the start. I was just like, no, I don't want to deal with this right now. I just want to add new features, and I'm going to do this later. And I suffered heavily from that, but it's done. Yeah.
Refactoring, you have to do a lot of refactoring in order to make the save.
Not
work?
much. I've already done that. If you remember a few months ago when I was talking about refactoring my game, that was like, I first started working on the save game in November last year. And I started doing that, and I'm like, well, this game needs a lot of refactoring in order to implement the save game. So I started doing the refactoring first. Then I was done with the refactoring, and I came back to the save file. So actually, yeah, I had to redo the whole game, basically. Okay. But it was not just because of the save file. Like the benefits of refactoring it were much, much bigger than just for the save game. It was just needed. Yeah.
Do you save into like a specific folder so that I can share that with
Yes, it's saved into what Unity calls application persistent data, which under Windows it would be the app data folder in your user folder. On Mac, I'm not very sure.
So you could theoretically save like the buildings and such in a separate file so that I can just share the map.
Would your goal be to share the procedurally generated setting?
Yeah.
Then it would be easier for me to just have a way to generate seeds and share the seed. Because basically, in order to get a completely same map, you would just need the seed for the Berlin noise. And then you get the completely same thing. So if I will give you that, you don't need to share the save files. But you could do that. That's not there right now. I'm not making that seed available. And it's always random. You can't input it like in Minecraft. So right now, you could just create a save file and share it with somebody. Okay, it was a lot of questions, so thank you very much. See you next time.